Thanks for the support as a channel member, FM Terrible. I don't like Gateshead. Hello and welcome to part 6 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have 2 games for you. One against Fylde, one against York. And yeah, since you were last with me, everything had been going well, apart from every time we played Gateshead. Gateshead just ruined everything. They knocked us out of the FA Trophy, and they've ended a 23-game unbeaten run in the league. The only other time we've lost in the league this year was on the first day of the season, when we lost to Alfreton in that, was it episode 2 of the series, I think? We then went on a long unbeaten run, other than getting knocked out of the FA Cup by Plymouth, but they're in League One. We were unbeaten, and it was all going really well. But then Gateshead, who, by the way, it's not like Gateshead are phenomenal. They're 12th in the National League North. They have a horrible away kit. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous away kit. But they've now knocked us out of the FA Trophy and beaten us in the league, ending our unbeaten run. We are still top of the league, level on points with Chorley. We have beaten in the league recently, but I don't know what it is about Gateshead. There's just something about them. They've got our number. I'm hoping we don't play them again this season. It doesn't look like we do. How did we get on when we played them in the league before? They're getting revenge on us for something. See, we only narrowly beat them at home then. Gateshead, just clearly there's something about them that counters what we do. And it makes me very sad. But hopefully we can now get back to winning ways. We're away against Fylde. Fylde are down in 9th place. And fingers crossed, we can go and beat them. We're going with Colin in goal. A back four of Edwards, Dunn, Senior and Moulden. Wooten and Perry in midfield. Patterson, Carvalho and Brandy supporting Spasov up front. Brandy, by the way, is the second top scorer. He's also good at Tekken, apparently. He's the second top scorer in the National League North with 13 goals from 19 appearances from the right wing. He's quite a good one, Levan Brandy. People often ask for Kev's tips for players to sign in non-league. Levan Brandy. I'm talking of signings, actually. We are starting to bring the financial deficit down. We know that Durin went back to Croatia back in January, but we've also now managed to shift Ben Milnes, who's a central midfielder who'd been here a little while. I mean, he'd been a regular player up until Kev turned up and ruined his day. I mean, looking at his club history, Corby and Kettering are like 10 miles apart. He's had to move. I mean, Leamington's not that far, to be fair, but he's never moved that far from Leicester, where presumably is where he was born. Born in Nottingham. He just likes the middle bit. He's afraid of the sea, Ben Milnes, and luckily Leamington's not near the sea either. So he's gone there. We're still a little bit over our wage budget. Inexplicably, though, our balance is continuing to rise. I don't know if non-league football just works a little bit differently in FM21 to what it did in all the previous versions of FM. But even though we're over our wage budget, and I mean, we've had like mini cup runs. We've not had I guess Plymouth made us like 100 grand, but still we started on 10 grand. Even without Plymouth, we've made a profit this season whilst being, for the majority of the year, £1,000 a week over our wage budget. It is coming down a little bit now. I'm trying to be good and not bring in anyone else until we get back within the wage budget, which realistically will be the summer. But yeah, it's weird that our balance is continuing to rise. Our projection is looking good for the future. Money is good here at Kettering. So I've already introduced the team, haven't I? I've done this episode in a strange order. I'll level with you. I've come into this straight off of doing all of my Christmas shopping in like an hour. It's Black Friday, morning of, as I record this. It's my tradition every year. Get up early on Black Friday, do all of my Christmas shopping, and then get on with the rest of my day. It's 5 to 10 on Friday morning. I've been sat looking at Christmas gifts for like 2 hours. My brain is mush, but Christmas presents are done. Hooray. And we've scored, and it's Spasov. Double hooray. I didn't get him a gift. Do you reckon he'd want anything from the Boots 3 for 2 gift selection? Not a sponsored thing, but if you're not using the 3 for 2 at Boots, you're not doing Christmas shopping right, surely. I'm going to get something for Slazzy Spasov. He can have one of the Hope and Glory gift boxes that I've got, because everyone likes a Hope and Glory gift box. Right. I mean, if you're expecting me to be talking about the Football Manager today, maybe come back tomorrow. This is all that's on my mind now is Hope and Glory gift boxes. Oh, but for the boys, we'll get the Ted Baker ones. They're a little bit more expensive, but you know, it's Ted Baker. They're quite good. Fat Face ones came with socks. So many gift sets, and I bought them all. And Brandy has just had a very good effort that's been disallowed. And I'm not entirely sure I agree with it being disallowed, but because we're down in non-league, we don't get a replay. We don't get to check VAR. It was a beautiful finish, though, and it's the half-hour point of the game. We're still 1-0 up. Fylde, I mean, they're hovering just outside the playoffs. They're down similar to where Gateshead are. There's like a bunch of teams in that kind of area, and Fylde are definitely one of them. And now they've equalised. Gateshead have ruined us. Our season's going off the rails now. At least the one positive, even if we do end up losing this game, is, and you've seen it a couple of times already, is the touchline tablet now stays out in between things. That's the second hot fix on FM21. And I'm loving the fact that that now stays out where I want it. This screen feels a lot more useful now. And I think I've got it set up how I want it. And obviously, if we want to add more stuff to it, we can just drop this down. Oh, it's a beautiful little finish from Spasov. Let's just look at this on the replay, because this is Football League quality finishing from Slavy Spasov. He's coming into his own now as the season goes on. 13 goals now this season. Carvalho playing it back to Malden, who took the throw initially. He just plays the ball over the top to Spasov, who just dinks it over the goalkeeper. Cool as you like. Beautiful goal from Spasov. It's 2-1 to Kettering, because we're Kettering, they're Fylde. And yeah, when we drop that down, it adds in the extra ones. Every time I show this, people say, Kev, how have you got that? It doesn't work on my computer. Two things. Thing number one, just reduce your zoom slightly. If you reduce your zoom slightly in preferences, you can fit more in. Obviously, don't make it so you can't read the text, but if you just take it down a little bit, you'll fit that third column in, and then you can just drag it and resize it, drag it out to the maximum, and then when you drop down the little team thing at the bottom and get that out of the way, it adds the next row, so you can fit all 6 on. I'm hoping, again, if you're watching Sports Interactive, you should be. Let's make it so you can fit all 6 of those on when we've got this on the bottom as well. It doesn't take much smushing around. I know it makes the screen really crowded, but I mean, newsflash, we're Football Manager players. We want the screen crowded in data. We don't want, what none of us want, I don't think, as Football Manager players, is a screen that's got a nice, look, it's got a lovely big gap on it like that. Doesn't it look nice? It's not crowded. It's lovely and clean. We don't want it clean. We want all the data. That feels, there's wasted space here and here. Fill it with numbers. That's what we want. We're here for the numbers, for goodness sake. Right. Substitute time. What have we got knocking around on the bench? Poor old Sheriff, who always plays well when he comes on, sat down there on the bench again. I think we will bring him on for Brandy. He likes it out on that right-hand side. And Brandy's probably due a rest. Dunn can come off as well for Asari. We're going to do a triple substitution. Wooten's on a yellow card, so we'll bring Boot on for him as well. Wooten for Boot on. Boot's coming on. People want me to rhyme them for some reason. There you go. That's the best you're going to get. Then they've now been rhymed. Carvalho playing it out to Patterson, who's got an overlap on that left-hand side. They're not looking at each other. I think they've fallen out. Edwards has ended up with the ball, cuts it across, lovely low cross, and it falls to Phoenix Patterson, who has the shot that is pushed over the crossbar by the goalkeeper, and it's a corner. It's going to be Patterson to take himself, looking for this in-swinger. We've got Spasov hovering in the near post. Sheriff's in there as well. In fact, that's Asari. Where's Sheriff? Sheriff's all the way out here. That feels like a bit of an oversight, having our second striker outside of the area when a corner comes in. It's because of the instruction to have Brandy out there normally, who's less of an aerial threat. Oh, that's a good goal. And it upsets me because it's now 2-2, 10 minutes to go. And Fylde are just not letting us have our moment. We need to come back to winning ways. And Fylde, rather selfishly, are only out for themselves. They want to get in the playoffs themselves. You should have thought of that a little bit earlier in the season, before you ended up mid-table. Now's our moment. Let us score. We're demanding more. We're going to go attack him. We need a goal. Malden with the throw to Carvalho. In fact, after this highlight, we're going 2 up top because we can stick Carvalho out wide. Get Sheriff up there alongside Spasov, but we'll let this highlight play out first because we might need to. We need to. I mean, that all happened very quickly. But especially now Spasov's missed a penalty, although it doesn't seem to be as much of a, it doesn't penalise the player as much as it did in FM20 missing a penalty. I have had players go on and do all right after missing a penalty. I still think it makes sense to get Sheriff up there alongside him. 5 minutes to go. I mean, that penalty and then penalty miss all happened so quickly. I couldn't even take stock of what was happening. We've got a throw from Edwards. I think he's going to hurl this into the 6-yard box. There's players lined up in there. It's going to be a big one. It is a big one. And it's like he was trying to give that to the goalkeeper. It was never going anywhere else. And now the highlight continues, which is a little bit worrying because it's Fylde who are on the attack. And luckily, Malden is there to intercept. There's no luck. Malden would say that himself. He'd confirm no luck involved. That was skill. That he knew he had to be there. And he makes the interception. But weirdly, the highlight continues to continue. And what's happening? Have we got the ball here? Whose throw is... Why did we need to see all that? Right. Possibly the last attack of the game. Edwards trying to be clever and just failing miserably. I mean, I like the idea, but Patterson wasn't really alert to it. And it's just been a waste of what should have been a good opportunity. And now we're under a little bit of pressure here. Senior needs to deal with it. There's another 4 minutes of added time after we hit the 90. So this isn't an end of game highlight. Something you would expect to happen here. And I don't see that anything is. Carvalho plays it over the top to Sheriff, who's in. Sheriff must score and doesn't. It's disallowed. So we've had we've had 2 disallowed goals and a missed penalty in this game. We're doing all we can. Edwards with another throw this time doesn't hurl it to the goalkeeper, but also doesn't find Spasov, and Fylde have got a counter-attack here, and we are a little bit short on numbers because we committed so many men forward for the long throw, but they've wasted it. I think that's probably the end of the game. I feel very hard done by here. We had 2.22 to 0.83 on the XG, 2 disallowed goals and a missed penalty. I mean, I don't often use you were unlucky because luck doesn't usually come into it. It's usually we were either good or we weren't good. Genuinely think today we're a little bit unlucky. On another day, a penalty goes in or one of the goals isn't disallowed. But it does mean we've now not won for 2 games. We need to win the next one. Just feel it's necessary to point out John Ramshaw, my assistant manager, has just turned down the opportunity to go to Dagenham and Redbridge in the National League. I didn't even ask him to stay. I always have a policy with my staff. I never ask them to stay. If they want to stay, they'll show loyalty and they'll stay. And that's exactly what John Ramshaw has just done. What a hero. And on further inspection, I'm also really interested in his playing career because his career stats indicate that he just, every now and again, every 10 years or so, he fancied a year of sitting on a bench somewhere. 77, 78 at Forest. Then nothing until 84, 85 at Shepshed Charterhouse. Because I know the instinct is the bits in between are just when he's deep in non-league. Are you telling me Shepshed Charterhouse in the Southern Premier? That's not deep in non-league. He's just didn't fancy it between Forest and them. And then he had a year. Don't know if I like this. I'm off. And then 11 years later, just turns up at Hucknall to do a full season of nothing. 95, 96. I'm half expecting him to turn up at some point and say, right, boss, I might be 68 now, but I'm ready for a game. It's been 30 years. All right, John. Yeah, I'm glad you didn't go to Dagenham. You don't need to be playing anymore, though. It looks like he's had a few spells as assistant manager of us as well, looking at this. We look at his history. Why can't we look at his history the way I want to look at it on here? But down the bottom there, it was, this is what I want. I want this. Let me know in the comments. I'm sure you will. Let me know how we do it. Because now we get a proper history. We find out what he was doing in between. So he was a player at Forest from 77 to 78. I know this isn't what the video is supposed to be about, but I'm interested in John Ramshaw now. And then between 78 and 83, he was an under-18s coach at Notts County. Then at Shepshed Charterhouse, he was there as a player coach. A year later, he went to Forest as under-18s manager. Then he was in management for a little while at an unknown club for 3 years. But then Sutton Town, then Shepshed, assistant manager, and then manager. And then after all these years as a coach and a manager, he then came back for a year as a player at Hucknall, presumably player manager. He's got a year there as player, and then he was manager of Hucknall for 6 years. So player manager at Hucknall, and then his managerial and largely assistant managerial career starts. Spent a lot of time around the Nottinghamshire area there. He's done Notts County, he's done Forest, he's done Hucknall, he's done Arnold. If you're from Mansfield, if you're from the Nottinghamshire area, you probably know John Ramshaw. He's done it all. Right, shall we play York? We've got an unchanged team for the York game. I do believe that we were a little bit unlucky in the last match, and hopefully the luck will go our way a little bit more against York. The problem is York are a better side, so we're going to pump our fists. We're going to ask them to go out there and impress me and impress you and impress John Ramshaw. But York are fourth in the league, and if we are entering into a little bit of a wobble, this is the kind of game where the wobble is going to be confirmed, and nobody wants a confirmed wobble. But 7 points clear of York at the moment, but we are a little bit precarious in the automatic promotion spot with Chorley breathing down our neck, and of course in the National League North and South you only get one automatic promotion spot, and then the ridiculous playoffs where it's a 16 playoff and you play their one-leg matches. So it's still a 3-match playoff, but you have to get past 3 teams to get promoted. It is even more of a lottery than the Football League playoffs. I hate the non-league playoffs. And if we're going up, we've got to go up as champions because this is just a nightmare. And to do that, we need to stop stuttering in these performances. Malden with the throw. I'm just going to give up with throw-ins, I think. If we win a throw-in, just give the ball to the opposition because that's effectively all we're doing. Anyway, Spasov's in there, but the attempt is over. And he did quite well there until the finish. I should add that into the commentary. We've been the better team here. Keep doing what you're doing. You'll be fine. I don't know if I want to say that. I don't know if I believe it. But John Ramshaw's got such a history. He's just shown loyalty to me. I've got to show loyalty to him. He thinks we should say that to them. Who am I to argue? He could be in Dagenham now, which now we know probably the only reason he's not gone there is it's a little bit too far from Nottingham. But his trains, he could have been in Dagenham and he's here. So we've got to go with him when he recommends something for the assistant manager contribution to team talk. Spasov's been trash. Let's get Sheriff on. Who else have we got? James Boot is going to come on for Wooten. These are the same substitutions I usually make. We're just going to do all 3 in one go. Asari's going to come on for Malden. We're going to go attack him. We've got to try and get something out of this game. We're also going to demand more. I hope John agrees, or I'll be devastated. And we've got to just try and get something. Come on, boys. We're not even getting highlights here. I know we're playing against a back 3, and we generally don't like that, but still. We've got to conjure up something, surely. Oh my word! Maybe we should have let John Ramshaw go on, brought in a younger, more energetic man. See, this time I don't agree we were unlucky. I'm actually a little bit worried that it's all going a little bit wrong now. Because that's 3 games without a win. We're going up, which I mean it wasn't on the cards at the start of the season, but the way we were 23 games unbeaten. We've got to be thinking of promotion now. If we are going to go up. We need to get back into some form. It looks like Chorley are just playing along though. They're up for it. They're all right. They're losing as well. So we've actually extended our lead at the top of the table this episode with 2 draws. Love non-league. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.